Hey everyone, I hope you can see the whiteboard clearly. I did another video with this like type of format with the whiteboard, and I don't know if you guys can see it really well. Just tell me in the comments if you can see the screen. As long as you can see the black stuff, that's fine. So yeah, the topic of today's video is on eating, as shown here in the whiteboard, and I'm going to talk about different things on definitions, trends, thinking and feeling, whole foods versus processed foods, and my diet or how I'm eating. So I want to talk about eating. Now first let's go into definitions. I always like to start with definitions. What's eating? Well, a little Google search said that it's the ingestion of food to provide energy and growth for the repair of things like tissue and manufacture hormones. And I think we can all agree on that. We all put things in our mouth, whether it's meat, plants. So what's food? Well, food is the substance that provides nutrition for the organism. Like I said, meat, plants, things we put in our mouth. Not necessarily like a coin, but things that actually, nourish us. So back to that word, giving us nourishment, nutrition. What does that mean? Well, nutrition is the process by which an organism uses food to support its life. So basically, the main thing we can get from these definitions is that eating is meant to give us nutrition through food, because we need these nutrients to support our life. Like we need the proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, because those are essential building blocks for whether it be hormones, transmitters, to repair muscle tissue, nails, hair, everything. We have a ton of systems in the body that need to be replenished on a daily basis. And we also have micronutrients like vitamins, and we also have minerals. There's a whole thing there. So now that we have that out of the way, I want to go now into the trends. And now we see a lot of, I like to call them trends, because I see it like this new thing, it's like a new boat that shows up in the shore, and people want to get on it because it's new and there's a ton of exciting things to see. So we have veganism, carnivore, keto. We also have things like fasting and paleo. And my opinion about these things is that they are leading to a lot of confusion, because this person says eat plants, then this person says no, plants are bad for you, eat this. But then someone else is telling you eat this and that, but you don't want to eat more fats and no carbs. But then others are saying yes, eat carbs, but not these carbs, only these types. So this confusion really leads to obsessions, being obsessed about what you're eating. So you say I'm only gonna eat meat and nothing else, or I'm only gonna eat plants and nothing else. If I eat that, I'm gonna die, or shit like that. Or having things like paralysis by analysis. That example I gave you, so many diets and they all contradict each other that you reach a point where you might say, what should I eat? And then also information overload. With the access we have to information on social media and just on the internet, it can cause way like a saturation of information, just way too much and way too fast. Also not just that saturation of information, but you don't even get the chance to actually try it for yourself. So you may be reaching conclusions before you actually have a meaningful experience yourself to actually say, what, this doesn't work for me, or what, this really works for me. So now let's get into the thinking and feeling. So this is where you get to more about being your own independent guide on eating, for instance, rather than relying on these trends to tell you what to do, or celebrities that are going vegan and you're like, oh yeah, I have to go vegan because this famous person's vegan, or I have to do this diet because this actor is eating this. It's also, this thinking and feeling is going to allow you to experiment for yourself and try out for yourself, which is going to give you much more valuable results than seeing what others do. So again, back to that trends things, one thing that is also can be a bit misleading too, are all of this science, because now we live in this age where science is like almost the absolute truth for people. They say this study showed XYZ, and then people now believe that that's the absolute truth. And you have to realize that studies themselves come with their weaknesses. You have confounding variables or external variables. In a study that maybe says meat is bad for you, it causes heart disease, you have to realize, what was the sample size, or what country was it done in, was it only men or was it only women, what age group, what were the lifestyle factors of these people, did they smoke, what was their sleep, exercise. You see, I can just keep on listing a ton of variables, and all of that is going to affect the result. And the thing is that there's a lot of things when it comes to what's good for us, not just eating. So remember that eating is one part of the puzzle of what's health. And then this leads me to my next point, which is you are your own unique experiment. So if you take into consideration all those external variables that might not be considered in these scientific studies, I'm not saying science is bad. So remember, you can make data for yourself. You can use journals. You can test your sleep, and you can change certain variables. How late you eat at night, or maybe if you fast before bed and how that impacts your sleep, or maybe what you eat for breakfast and how that's going to impact your. So be your own experiment and test things out for yourself instead of relying in trends or studies. Those trend studies can be tools, but don't take them as the absolute truth. So now that we've talked about that, let's go into this idea of whole foods versus processed foods. So that's, I think, a basic principle when it comes to starting to eat good food, to start eating primarily whole foods in your diet, and that's going to lead you to better success towards a good health and gut. But you have to be aware that some of these trend foods are actually junk food, which is, again, one of the reasons why these trends can be problematic. And I see that a lot with vegan meat replacements, like this ground meat you see in stores that are labeled as being vegan, or like vegan sausages, stuff like that. And for me, that's when I think you should draw a line and check out the ingredients of this stuff. I mean, there's some posts on this where they compare the ingredients of dog food and of these meat replacements, and they're almost identical. In the book In Defense of Food by Michael Pollan, he recommends sticking to foods with a maximum of 5 ingredients. He says that more than that, he considers it to be too processed, and I can't agree with him more. The best way to check what's really inside your food is not in the package. That's just marketing. That's just bullshit. Not because it says natural and has green colors means it's healthy. No. Read in the back and read your goddamn ingredients list. That's what I do every single time I'm in the supermarket. You don't see me looking at it in the front. I'm always looking in the back reading. And yeah, it's hella small. And once you start making that into a habit, then it's simple, You see a food, see the back, BS, too many ingredients. So I'm not saying like eat only whole foods. If you have a donut or a protein bar once in a while, sure, it's fine. Nothing significant is gonna happen to you. But focus on 80 to 90% of the time eating these one ingredient or minimal ingredient foods. Now I want to get on to the last part of this topic on eating, and I want to explain my diet. So what's my diet? I don't have a diet. I don't follow a specific diet or believe that one diet is going to cure me from everything. But I do have certain principles or rules I abide by that I found really help me feel with energy, help me feel satiated, and have a better relationship with food, but also, I guess feel more clean when it comes to eating. So I don't want to tell you what to eat. I can give you certain principles or ideas as to what you should be looking for, like this thing I talked about, ingredients, and you know, test it out. Don't fall prey to these trends and dogma that is being shown on social media. You know, take it as a new idea, as something you need to think about or experiment, but don't take it as the absolute truth. And you know, this guy's wrong, this guy's right approach. You know, more as a new introduction to maybe something you haven't thought about when it comes to eating. So yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you learned something or had a new perspective on eating, and yeah, have a nice day and see you in the next one, guys.